The cameras were rolling during what should have been a cozy Christmas special, but instead they captured a moment that would spark thousands of social media comments and speculation about the royal marriage. It was December 21st, 19, and Prince William and Princess Catherine had agreed to appear on Mary Berry's BBC Christmas special, A Berry Royal Christmas. The couple looked picture-perfect in matching deep red outfits, seated comfortably in front of a crackling fireplace alongside the beloved British culinary legend. The setting could not have been more romantic or festive. Christmas decorations adorned the background. The warm glow of the fire cast a golden light across their faces, and both royals were relaxed and smiling as they discussed holiday traditions with Berry. Catherine wore an elegant burgundy dress that complemented William's deep red sweater, and their coordination seemed to reflect a couple in harmony. The conversation flowed naturally as they talked about their family's Christmas preparations and the importance of the holiday season. But then, it happened. In what appeared to be an instinctive gesture of affection, William reached over to place his hand gently on Catherine's shoulder. It was the kind of tender touch that married couples often share without thinking, a simple moment of connection during a public appearance. However, Catherine's reaction was swift and unmistakable. In one fluid motion, she shrugged her shoulder, effectively removing her husband's hand from its intended resting place. Her radiant smile never wavered, and she continued the conversation as if nothing had occurred. William, to his credit, maintained his composure with remarkable grace. His expression remained pleasant and engaged, though body language experts later noted a fleeting look of surprise that crossed his features. The future king simply adjusted his position and continued participating in the filming as professionally as ever. The entire interaction lasted mere seconds, but those few moments would become one of the most analyzed pieces of royal footage in recent years. Social media erupted almost immediately after the special aired. Royal watchers took to Twitter in droves, dissecting every frame of the brief exchange. Some users were shocked by what they perceived as a public rejection of affection. One viewer wrote, "Awkward. Too awkward. They should have cut it out," while another observed, "She moved with a quickness." The clip was shared thousands of times, with many speculating about what it might reveal about the state of the Cambridge marriage. However, not everyone interpreted the moment as a sign of marital discord. Many royal supporters rushed to defend Catherine, arguing that she had simply shifted in her chair or adjusted her posture naturally during filming. They pointed to the couple's obvious comfort with each other throughout the rest of the special and their well-documented displays of affection at other public events. Some suggested that Catherine might have been concerned about appearing too informal during the filming, as royal protocol often requires a certain level of restraint during official appearances. Royal commentators weighed in with their professional assessments. Body language experts analyzed the footage frame by frame, offering various interpretations of the couple's interaction. Some suggested that Catherine's reaction was purely instinctive and not meant as a rejection of her husband's gesture. Others noted that the couple had been together for many years at that point and were likely comfortable enough with each other to have such natural, unguarded moments. The incident highlighted the intense scrutiny that every royal gesture faces in the modern media landscape. What might be a completely normal interaction between any married couple becomes headline news when it involves members of the royal family. The fact that this particular moment was captured on camera during a televised special meant it was preserved for endless analysis and speculation. Royal expert Katie Nicholl later told The Mirror that William and Catherine are actually very affectionate when cameras are not rolling, suggesting that the apparent awkwardness might have been influenced by the formal filming environment. She explained that the couple had become more reserved in their public displays of affection over the years, making spontaneous gestures like William's attempted shoulder touch less common during official events. The Christmas special moment became part of a broader discussion about how the royal couple navigates their relationship in the public eye. Unlike previous generations of royals who maintained strict formality at all times, William and Catherine have generally been more relaxed and natural in their public appearances. This particular incident seemed to represent a rare moment when their different comfort levels with public affection became visible. Despite the initial wave of speculation and concern from royal watchers, the incident did not appear to have any lasting impact on public perception of the couple's relationship. In subsequent appearances, William and Catherine continued to demonstrate their strong partnership and mutual support. If anything, the moment served as a reminder that even royal couples are human beings navigating the complexities of marriage under extraordinary public scrutiny. The Berry Royal Christmas Hand incident remains one of those small but memorable moments that royal historians and fans continue to reference. It represents the challenge that modern royals face in balancing authentic human behavior with the expectations and protocols of their public roles. For William and Catherine, it was perhaps a learning experience about the importance of being mindful of every gesture when cameras are present, no matter how relaxed the setting might appear to be. The Caribbean sun beat down mercilessly as Prince William and Princess Catherine stepped off their aircraft in Belize, the first stop of what would become one of their most scrutinized royal tours. It was March 2022, and the couple had arrived to celebrate Queen Elizabeth II's Platinum Jubilee across 3 Commonwealth nations. What was intended as a charm offensive to strengthen ties with former British colonies would instead become a masterclass in royal awkwardness, captured on camera for the world to see. The trouble began before they even reached their first scheduled engagement. The couple had planned to visit a cacao farm in the Toledo district, but local residents staged a protest against their arrival. Villagers held signs reading, "Prince William, leave our land," and voiced their frustrations over a long-standing land dispute with Flora and Fauna International, a conservation charity that William supports as patron. The optics were terrible, and palace officials quickly scrambled to find an alternative venue that would not generate further controversy. By the time William and Catherine reached the village of Hopkins, the cultural heart of Belize's Garifuna community, they were already behind schedule and under pressure to salvage their Caribbean tour. The coastal village had prepared a traditional Garifuna festival to welcome the royal couple, complete with colorful decorations, local musicians, and enthusiastic residents eager to share their cultural heritage. The atmosphere was festive and welcoming, a stark contrast to the protests they had encountered earlier. The moment that would define their Belize visit came when local dancers invited the royal couple to join them in performing the traditional punta dance. The rhythmic, high-energy dance is central to Garifuna culture, and refusing the invitation would have been considered deeply disrespectful. Both William and Catherine understood the cultural significance of participating, but neither was prepared for how awkward they would appear when the cameras started rolling. Catherine, dressed in a striking blue-patterned Tory birch dress with matching earrings, initially appeared more confident as she stepped into the circle of dancers. She smiled broadly and seemed genuinely excited to participate in the cultural exchange. However, as the upbeat punta rhythms began and she started moving to the music, her usual poise seemed to abandon her. Her movements appeared stilted and uncertain, lacking the natural flow that the local dancers demonstrated effortlessly. Meanwhile, William found himself paired with Laura Cacho, a 57-year-old local woman who was an experienced punta dancer. The contrast between her fluid, confident movements and William's awkward attempts to follow her lead was immediately apparent to everyone watching. The future king's eyes were wide with uncertainty as he tried to match her steps, his body language conveying a mixture of determination and panic as he realized he was completely out of his element. The most cringeworthy moment came when Catherine danced toward her husband, attempting to create a playful interaction between them as the cameras rolled. Instead of the romantic or charming moment that might have been expected, both royals appeared stiff and uncomfortable. William's expression showed what could only be described as strained embarrassment, and rather than embracing his wife or responding to her playful gesture, he looked down at the ground with a forced smile. Body language experts later analyzed the footage extensively, noting that both royals appeared to be performing rather than genuinely enjoying themselves. Catherine's usual grace and confidence seemed to evaporate as she attempted to navigate the unfamiliar dance steps, while William's discomfort was written across his face for all to see. The cultural exchange that was meant to show their appreciation for Garifuna traditions instead highlighted their privilege and distance from the local community. The contrast with the local dancers could not have been more stark. While the Garifuna performers moved with natural rhythm and joy, celebrating their cultural heritage, the royal couple appeared to be going through the motions of a diplomatic obligation. Their designer outfits and obvious discomfort served as a visual reminder of the colonial history that had brought them to the Caribbean in the first place. Social media reaction was swift and unforgiving. Video clips of the dance went viral on platforms like TikTok and Twitter, with users creating compilation videos that compared William and Catherine's awkward movements with their more graceful appearances at formal events. Many comments focused on how the couple seemed completely out of touch with the local culture they were supposedly celebrating. The dancing incident became emblematic of the broader problems with the Caribbean tour. Critics argued that the entire visit felt tone-deaf, with the royal couple appearing as outsiders trying to maintain relevance in nations that were increasingly questioning their relationship with the British monarchy. The fact that Barbados had recently removed Queen Elizabeth as head of state only added to the pressure surrounding the tour. Laura Cacho, who had danced with William, remained gracious in her comments afterward, telling People magazine that the royal couple were amazing and that she would welcome them back any time. However, her diplomatic response could not erase the visual evidence of how uncomfortable the interaction had been for everyone involved. The dancing debacle was compounded by other awkward moments throughout the tour, including a photograph of William and Catherine greeting Jamaican children through a wire fence, which drew uncomfortable comparisons to colonial-era power dynamics. By the time they reached the Bahamas for the final leg of their tour, the damage to their public image had already been done. Royal commentators noted that the Caribbean tour represented a significant learning experience for William and Catherine. Unlike their previous overseas visits, where their natural charisma and genuine interest in local cultures had been well received, the 2022 Caribbean tour exposed the challenges they faced in navigating the complex legacy of British colonialism while trying to maintain their relevance as future monarchs. The dancing footage continues to resurface on social media, serving as a reminder of the risks involved when royals step outside their comfort zones in front of cameras. For William and Catherine, it was a harsh lesson in the importance of preparation and cultural sensitivity when representing the British monarchy on the international stage. In the days leading up to King Charles III's coronation in May 2023, Prince William and Princess Catherine were undertaking a series of public engagements to connect with ordinary citizens and demonstrate their commitment to public service. What should have been a routine visit to showcase London's Elizabeth line instead became an internet sensation when they encountered an overly enthusiastic TikTok influencer who left them visibly confused and uncomfortable. The couple had decided to travel on the newly opened Elizabeth line as part of their Coronation Week activities. The underground journey was meant to highlight their willingness to use public transportation, like regular Londoners, and show their support for major infrastructure projects. Both were dressed smartly but casually, with Catherine wearing a navy coat and William in a dark suit, attempting to blend in with commuters despite their obvious security detail and accompanying cameras. As they prepared to disembark at their destination, the carriage filled with the usual bustle of passengers gathering their belongings and moving toward the doors. It was then that Francis Bourgeois, a popular TikTok creator known for his enthusiastic content about trains, spotted the royal couple. Bourgeois, whose real passion for railway systems had earned him a substantial social media following, immediately recognized an opportunity for content that would reach millions of viewers. The moment the train doors opened, Bourgeois sprang into action with the kind of energy that had made him famous online. He jumped to his feet with obvious excitement, quickly maneuvering through the crowd to position himself near William and Catherine as they exited the carriage. His sudden movement and enthusiastic demeanor immediately caught the attention of the royal security team, who moved to assess whether he posed any threat to their charges. Very nice to meet you," Bourgeois announced loudly as he thrust his hand toward the couple, his voice carrying the distinctive enthusiasm that his followers knew well. The greeting was accompanied by the kind of animated body language that works perfectly for social media content, but appears jarring in the context of a formal royal encounter. His phone was already recording, capturing every moment of the interaction for his future TikTok post. William and Catherine exchanged a quick glance that spoke volumes about their confusion. Neither appeared to recognize Bourgeois or understand why this young man was approaching them with such familiar enthusiasm. The look they shared was one of mutual bewilderment, as if to say, "Who is this person and what exactly is happening?" Their expressions perfectly captured the generational divide between traditional royal protocol and the modern world of social media influencers. Catherine's response was polite but clearly strained. She offered a diplomatic smile while shaking the offered hand, but her body language suggested she was working hard to maintain her composure in an unexpected situation. William appeared equally nonplussed, going through the motions of the greeting while obviously trying to process what was occurring and whether he should know who this enthusiastic stranger was supposed to be. The security team's tension was palpable as they tried to assess the situation without creating a scene. They had to quickly determine whether Bourgeois was a legitimate content creator or a potential security risk, all while allowing the interaction to proceed without appearing heavy-handed. The delicate balance between protecting the royals and avoiding negative publicity required split-second decision-making in an unusual circumstance. What made the encounter even more awkward was the clear disconnect between Bourgeois' social media persona and the formal expectations surrounding royal interactions. His casual approach and obvious excitement about filming the moment for his followers clashed dramatically with the traditional protocols that usually govern meetings with members of the royal family. The spontaneous nature of the encounter left no time for proper introductions or explanations. The footage quickly made its way onto TikTok, where Bourgeois' followers shared it widely. However, it was when other social media users discovered the clip that it truly went viral. A TikTok user posted a compilation that included the awkward subway encounter alongside other footage of William and Catherine, adding captions that highlighted how confused the couple appeared during the interaction. The viral video accumulated tens of thousands of likes and hundreds of thousands of views, with users commenting on everything from the couple's bewildered expressions to their apparent unfamiliarity with social media culture. One popular comment read, "Why is the first clip so funny, ha 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 ha," while another observed, "Lol, the way William looks over at Catherine to laugh at the train guy, they're so confused." The incident sparked broader discussions about the royal family's relationship with modern media and social platforms. Many commenters noted that William and Catherine, despite being millennials themselves, seemed completely out of touch with the influencer culture that defines much of contemporary social media. Their apparent lack of recognition of a prominent TikTok creator highlighted the bubble in which senior royals operate. Royal watchers used the moment to analyze how William and Catherine handle unexpected situations during public engagements. Some praised their professionalism in maintaining their composure despite being clearly uncomfortable, while others suggested the encounter revealed their disconnect from the digital age and younger demographics they claim to want to engage with. The subway incident also raised questions about security protocols and how the royal household manages interactions with content creators and social media influencers. While traditional media encounters are carefully managed and prearranged, the spontaneous nature of social media content creation presents unique challenges for royal protection teams and protocol officers. Media analysts noted that the encounter perfectly encapsulated the challenges facing modern monarchies in an age of instant content creation and viral moments. Every public appearance carries the risk of uncontrolled interactions that can be filmed, edited, and shared globally within minutes, often without context or explanation. For Bourgeois, the encounter represented a career-defining moment that introduced his content to audiences far beyond his usual railway enthusiast followers. His respectful but enthusiastic approach to the interaction earned him credit for not exploiting the moment inappropriately, though his obvious excitement about the royal encounter provided entertainment for millions of viewers. The lasting impact of the subway encounter lies in how it captured a generation gap within a single interaction. William and Catherine's visible confusion when faced with contemporary social media culture served as a reminder that despite their efforts to modernize the monarchy, they remain somewhat removed from the digital world that increasingly shapes public discourse and celebrity culture. The opulent setting of Crown Prince Al Hussein's wedding to Princess Rajwa Al Saif in Jordan in 2023 should have been the perfect backdrop for diplomatic pleasantries and brief royal interactions. Instead, it became the stage for a moment that perfectly captured the dynamics of Prince William and Princess Catherine's marriage when cameras caught an exchange that would quickly go viral and spark discussions about royal relationships and social boundaries. William had a personal connection to the Jordanian crown prince, having attended Britain's Royal Military Academy Sandhurst alongside the groom. This shared military background made the invitation particularly meaningful and ensured that the British royal couple would be prominently featured among the international dignitaries attending the lavish ceremony. The wedding was a major diplomatic event, bringing together royalty and heads of state from across the Middle East and Europe. As the formal ceremonies concluded and guests moved into the reception phases of the celebration, William and Catherine began making their rounds to greet other attendees and pay their respects to various members of the Jordanian royal family. The atmosphere was celebratory but formal, with careful attention paid to protocol and the appropriate amount of time to spend with each dignitary or royal family member. When they approached Princess Rajwa, the new bride was radiant in her wedding attire and clearly enjoying the conversations with her international guests. William, drawing on his military academy connection with her new husband, engaged in polite conversation with the princess before moving on to greet other attendees, as would be expected in such a formal setting where numerous important figures were waiting to offer their congratulations. Catherine, however, found herself genuinely engaged in conversation with Princess Rajwa. The two women appeared to connect immediately, perhaps bonding over their shared experience of marrying into prominent royal families, or simply finding common ground in their personal interests. As their conversation continued and deepened, it became clear that Catherine was thoroughly enjoying the exchange and was in no hurry to cut it short. Meanwhile, William had completed his circuit of nearby dignitaries and returned to find his wife still deeply engaged in animated conversation with the bride. From his perspective, they had already spent the appropriate amount of time with Princess Rajwa, and there were numerous other important guests they needed to acknowledge. The careful choreography of royal events requires maintaining a delicate balance between showing genuine interest and ensuring that no one feels neglected. The moment that would later go viral came when William decided to gently encourage Catherine to wrap up her conversation. In a gesture that was captured clearly by the wedding photographers, he could be seen making subtle hand signals toward his wife, indicating that it was time to move on to their next interaction. His body language suggested a mixture of patience and mild urgency, as he tried to manage their social obligations without appearing rude. Catherine, however, was having none of it. She glanced toward William with an expression that clearly communicated her awareness of his signals, but then deliberately turned back to continue her conversation with Princess Rajwa. Her body language was unmistakably defiant, suggesting that she was perfectly capable of determining when her conversation should end and would not be hurried along by her husband's schedule concerns. The exchange perfectly captured a dynamic that many married couples would recognize: the tension between one partner who is ready to leave a social situation and another who is still enjoying themselves. However, the royal context and the presence of international media made this ordinary marital moment into a fascinating glimpse behind the usually polished facade of royal appearances. What made the moment particularly compelling was Catherine's clear assertion of independence. Rather than immediately deferring to William's social cues, she made the conscious decision to prioritize her genuine connection with Princess Rajwa over royal protocol expectations. Her refusal to be managed or controlled in that moment resonated with many viewers who saw it as evidence of her confidence and autonomy within the royal marriage. The video clip of the exchange quickly spread across social media platforms, where it was shared thousands of times with various interpretations. Many commenters praised Catherine for holding her own and refusing to be bossed around by her husband, even in such a formal and high-profile setting. The moment was seen by many as evidence of her growth in confidence since joining the royal family. Royal watchers analyzed the interaction extensively, with some noting that it demonstrated the evolution of Catherine's role within the royal hierarchy. Unlike earlier years when she might have been more deferential to William's lead in social situations, this moment showed her exercising her own judgment about appropriate social behavior and refusing to be hurried along against her better instincts. Body language experts weighed in on the exchange, noting that both William and Catherine maintained their composure throughout the interaction despite the obvious tension. William's patience in the face of his wife's clear dismissal of his signals was seen as evidence of his respect for her autonomy, while Catherine's polite but firm resistance demonstrated her diplomatic skills. The incident also highlighted the challenges that royal couples face in navigating social situations where personal preferences must be balanced against protocol requirements and time constraints. The need to acknowledge numerous important guests while still engaging meaningfully with each person creates a complex social dynamic that requires constant negotiation between partners. Some royal commentators suggested that the moment reflected broader changes in royal marriages, with modern royal wives being less willing to simply follow their husband's lead without question. Catherine's behavior was contrasted with previous generations of royal women who might have immediately deferred to their husband's wishes in such situations. For Princess Rajwa, the extended conversation with Catherine was undoubtedly a highlight of her wedding celebrations. The genuine interest and engagement shown by the British princess likely made the interaction more meaningful than the brief formal exchanges that characterize most royal wedding encounters. The lasting impact of the Jordan wedding moment lies in how it revealed the authentic personalities behind the royal roles. Rather than the carefully managed interactions that typically characterize royal appearances, this spontaneous exchange showed both William and Catherine as real people navigating the same social dynamics that challenge all married couples. just with the added complexity of international diplomacy and media scrutiny. The red carpet at the 2023 BAFTA Film Awards stretched elegantly across the entrance to the Royal Festival Hall in London, setting the stage for one of the British entertainment industry's most prestigious nights. Prince William and Princess Catherine arrived as the guests of honor, representing the royal family's ongoing patronage of the arts. Catherine looked absolutely stunning in a reworked Alexander McQueen gown paired with elegant opera gloves, while William cut a dashing figure in a velvet tuxedo that perfectly complemented the evening's formal atmosphere. The couple moved gracefully down the red carpet, pausing for photographers and greeting various dignitaries and entertainment industry figures. Their presence at the BAFTAs had become an annual tradition, reflecting their genuine interest in British cinema and their commitment to supporting creative industries. Both appeared relaxed and genuinely engaged with the glamorous event, stopping to chat with nominees and industry executives. As they made their way toward the entrance, surrounded by the usual crowd of photographers, journalists, and fans hoping to catch a glimpse of the royal couple, something unexpected happened that would quickly become one of the most talked-about moments of the evening. With cameras flashing and phones recording from every angle, Catherine did something that would have made previous generations of royals absolutely scandalized. In a moment of playful spontaneity, Princess Catherine reached over and gave Prince William a cheeky pat on the backside. The gesture was subtle but unmistakable, captured by multiple cameras, including a fan who was filming on their cell phone at just the right angle to catch the intimate moment. The brief touch was affectionate and playful, the kind of gesture that married couples might share privately, but which was unprecedented for a member of the royal family to display so publicly. The moment was particularly striking because it occurred in such a formal, high-profile setting. The BAFTA Film Awards represent one of the most important events in the British cultural calendar, attended by the cream of the entertainment industry and broadcast to millions of viewers. For Catherine to display such casual intimacy in this context suggested a level of comfort and confidence in her royal role that had developed significantly over her years in the public eye. William's reaction to his wife's playful gesture was equally telling. Rather than appearing embarrassed or concerned about the breach of royal protocol, he seemed genuinely amused by Catherine's spontaneous display of affection. His smile suggested that such moments were not uncommon between them privately, and that he appreciated her willingness to show their genuine connection even in such a public forum. The gesture stood in stark contrast to the traditionally reserved behavior expected of royal couples at formal events. For decades, royal protocol had dictated that members of the family maintain a certain dignified distance even from their spouses during public appearances. Physical displays of affection were typically limited to the occasional hand-holding or brief touch on the arm, making Catherine's playful pat a genuine departure from established norms. Social media exploded almost immediately after the moment was captured and shared online. A TikTok video featuring the interaction quickly went viral, accumulating over 27,000 likes and nearly 300,000 views. The footage was shared across multiple platforms, with users expressing everything from delight to shock at Catherine's bold display of affection. Comments ranged from playful to admiring, with many users praising Catherine for showing her personality and refusing to be constrained by stuffy royal traditions. One fan commented, "She had to claim him on the spot," while another wrote appreciatively about, "Our beautiful Kate, can't wait for her to be queen." The positive response suggested that the public appreciated seeing authentic moments of connection between the royal couple. The incident highlighted the evolution of royal public displays of affection over the generations. Queen Elizabeth II was famous for maintaining strict formality even with Prince Philip, exemplified by her decision to shake hands with her children rather than hug them when she returned from a 6-month Commonwealth tour in 1953. The contrast with Catherine's spontaneous gesture demonstrated how much royal behavior had evolved in the modern era. Royal historians noted that the BAFTA moment represented part of a broader trend toward more relaxed and authentic royal behavior. William and Catherine had gradually become more comfortable showing their genuine relationship in public, though this particular gesture pushed the boundaries further than they had ever gone before. The fact that it occurred at such a high-profile event made it even more significant. Conservative royal watchers might have raised eyebrows at Catherine's behavior, but the overwhelming public response was positive. Many people appreciated seeing the royal couple as real people, with a genuine, affectionate relationship, rather than the formal, distant figures that royalty had traditionally presented to the world. The moment humanized them in a way that carefully managed public appearances rarely achieved. The timing of the gesture was also significant, occurring during a period when the royal family was working to modernize its image and connect with younger generations. Catherine's willingness to show such spontaneous affection suggested a confidence in her role and a desire to present a more relatable version of royalty that resonated with contemporary audiences. Media coverage of the moment was largely positive, with most outlets treating it as a charming glimpse into the couple's genuine relationship rather than a serious breach of protocol. The fact that both William and Catherine appeared completely comfortable with the interaction suggested that it reflected their natural dynamic rather than a calculated attempt to appear more relatable. The BAFTA pat became part of a growing collection of moments that demonstrated William and Catherine's more relaxed approach to royal protocol. Their willingness to show genuine affection, whether through Catherine's playful gesture or their increased comfort with holding hands and sharing private moments in public, reflected their understanding that modern royalty required a more human touch. For Catherine personally, the moment represented her complete transformation from the nervous university student who had once been overwhelmed by royal protocol to a confident princess who felt comfortable being herself, even in the most formal settings. Her ability to balance royal dignity with genuine personality had become one of her greatest strengths as a senior member of the royal family. The lasting impact of the BAFTA moment lies in how it normalized authentic displays of affection within royal marriage. By showing that she could be both dignified and genuinely affectionate, Catherine helped redefine expectations for how modern royals could behave in public while still maintaining the respect and formality that their positions required.